Welcome to the Visa Halftime Report. Visa, everywhere you want to be.
Well, the truth is, Metro has 6 to 8 car trains all the time running on their system. As we welcome you to the Visa Halftime Report, DC for us and WTA, back with you once again. And as we recently have said in the last episode, or the last broadcast, excuse me, we were wondering where those yellow and green line trains went. I mean, with a recent budget increase, the yellow and green line trains are supposed to have only 8 car trains running on them now. But the number of those trains have fallen in recent months, according to Metro data analyzed by Metro Hero. The drop corresponded with the 6-station Metro Platform Improvement Project shutdown that began on May 25th. And it turns out there's a reason for that shutdown. And in March 2018, Metro announced that the agency was lengthening trains on the 2 lines to 8 cars whenever possible. And the policy was in response to service cuts the prior year when trains began running every 8 minutes instead of 6. And when Yellow Line Rush Plus service to Greenbelt was discontinued, as it springs back up for this year. I mean, for all day, a Yellow Line train service to Greenbelt was restored as a part of this budget. In this latest budget, all 9 of the Yellow Line trains and all 17 of Green Line trains are scheduled to be 8 cars in length. But Metro Hero can calculate how many trains and how many 8-car trains are seen in service, including what train number is there. However, Metro Hero's performance summary tool average trains between 5 to 9:30 a.m. and 3 to 7 p.m., whereas the WTA budget only says what trains should be running between 8:15 a.m. and 5 p.m. That means that average numbers produced by Metro Hero are going to be lower than point-in-time numbers in the WTA budget. And another reason could be that the 8-car trains could be going to other lines. In April and May of this year, the Green Yellow Line trains combined averaged just under 20 8-car trains, fewer than budgeted, but still a significant number. Then starting around June, the number of 8-car trains began dropping, and the 4th week of July averaged 16 during the morning and afternoon rush hour when 22 were scheduled to be in service. And the Yellow and Blue Line trains currently at National Airport, due to the mentioned 107-day shutdown that affects Braddock Road, King Street, Eisenhower, Huntington, Van Dorn, and Franconia Springfield stations. And spokesperson Ian Janetta said that the decline in 8-car trains on the Yellow and Green Lines was an effect on Alexandria Yard being offline due to the Platform Improvement Project. So that's why. So basically, what she's saying is that Alexandria Yard is in between King Street, Braddock Road, and the stations that are closed between Franconia Springfield and National Airport. There's a rail yard in between those stations, making those 8-car trains fewer than normal. And she says over time that the trains may end up being reblocked, that is, assigned a different train line color on destinations such as the silver or blue line, if it is needed to maintain schedule on that line. And the rationale between this is that it is better to maintain proper headways versus missing a trip to ensure that an 8-car train is in a particular slot. Over time, Jenna did suggest that 8-car trains have been shifting away from the yards, which feed in the yellow and green lines, meaning fewer of them end up in service. And due to reblocking mitigate delays adhere to schedule, there may not be enough trains arriving at certain yards to redeploy them as 8-car trains. That leaves fewer 8-car trains to be dispatched into service for the yellow and green lines where they're expected by riders. And over the same time frame that 8-car trains have been seen less often on the yellow and green lines, the number on the silver line are up significantly, and there are a few more on the blue line as well. And this would suggest, as Janetta noted, that there are fewer 8-car trains being dispatched from Greenbelt and Branch Avenue rail yards, and more from the New Carrollton or West Falls Church yards. And Metro's most recent data showing average passengers per car for March suggests that the yellow and green line trains are more crowded in the afternoons when measured in the mornings. And trains to L'Enfant Plaza headed south average around 100 and 105 people per car on the yellow and green lines, respectively. And Metro defines that the optimal railcar load as for 100 passengers, with 80 being a relatively light and the 120 the maximum. And northbound yellow line trains at Pentagon averaged 89 in March. Green line trains to Greenbelt at Waterfront averaged 93 people per rail car. And numbers are not yet available for railcar loading after the yellow line resumes service to Greenbelt. And another reason could be that Metro actually may be running more 8-car trains than scheduled. And recently, Red Line riders have been seeing fewer 8-car trains as well, While the data supports the assertion, the number of 8-car trains running now still on average meets the number that Metro has been budgeted during the morning and evening rush hour. It's 18 6-cars and 18 8-car trains. So the total number of trains running on the Red Line has gone up recently, and Metro did eliminate the Grosvenor and Silver Spring turnbacks back in December 2018 and earlier in July. And in fact, Metro appears to have been running more 8-car trains than scheduled on most days since September, according to Metro Hero data. The line averaged 21 8-car trains in April and 20 in May, though at least one day, May 22nd, averaged more than 26 8-car trains. And the Red Line has been averaging just under 18-car trains during rush hours so far in July. Just under 9 of them have been seen on average on the Orange Line, 10 on the Silver Line, and 7.5 on the Blue Line. So Metro and Yellow Line, Metro Yellow and Blue Line closure ends on September 8th, which is not too long, which is about just over a month from now, and after which the Alexandria yard should open again and regain the operational flexibility that the agency says it's lost when it closed. You can also explore railcar trends over time for yourself with Metro Hero's performance summary tool, which looks a little like this. You can find out how Metro is performing over the months. So, for example, I got a range from May 1st to July 22nd, and here's what's been going on recently. You can see all these stats here for the headway adherence and the schedule adherence for the yellow and green line trains, and how much frequent the trains were, the consistency, and the wait times and whatnot. So Metro Hero is becoming a very popular app and website for the system itself. So when we get back, we'll see you in the second part, which is Ballston Station having a second entrance.
What's up, DC? This is Tom Wilson, right wing, number 43. When I'm on the ice, it's my job to pay attention to everything going on around me. Being a good teammate means looking out for one another on and off the ice. I'm pretty vigilant, and it's important for you to be the same on Metro. If you see something on a train or bus that doesn't look right, like a strange package or unattended bag, report it right away. Let's work together to keep Metro safe. And if you see something, say something.
Doors opening.
More halftime, we're back again, and like we said earlier, Ballston Station, after 15 years, could finally have a second entrance. So that's right. Arlington County staff have been given the go-ahead to move forward with planning a second entrance at the Ballston Station, according to project manager B. Burglar. I don't know how to say it really. B. Burglar is what I call it. But it could be another 5 years before it actually comes to fruition. The project is over 15 years in the planning, but until it's recently been held up because of the building that would be above it was redeveloped and ran into delays. But the Ballston West project, that's what it's called, would add a brand new mezzanine inside the rail station, as well as elevators and either escalators on the south side of the street. The design phase is expected to take more than 2 years, and construction would take 3, assuming the county fully funds the project. And the entrance would be located at 4420 Fairfax Drive at Vermont Street near Glebe Road. And for a little rough layout, here is what the Ballston Station could look like once the west entrance is provided. There it is, guys. So you can see the stairs, just like how many of those other crossing stations look in the Metro right now. The same thing could be added with little modern touches. And Burglar said that they've been waiting a long time on Monday, July 22nd, when a presentation with the Ballston Virginia Square Civic Association. And when he started with the county in 2004, this was the county's #1 capital project, from what she remarked. I'm sorry about the gender confusion, guys. Sorry about that. Anyways, Arlington County did recently approve a deal with one of the owners of the building at 4420 Fairfax Drive in March, which allowed it to begin moving ahead with planning and reconstruction, even if the building won't be yet redeveloped. The county will receive $6.8 million from the building owner, Washington Capital Partners, and if and when it decides to redevelop the property. And the second entrance, in addition, will cost approximately $130 million, according to Arlington County officials. And Arlington did request $72 million from NVTA in 2018, but did not receive the money. Competing projects in Northern Virginia, such as widening Route 1 in Fairfax County and expanding Arlington's Metroway, won out. And existing plans need updates for the Metro project to continue. And when developer J.G.B. Smith owned the 4420 Fairfax building, it began designing the project and got the 35% so-called quote-unquote design plans. And these preliminary design documents are helping the project team determine specific details about how the project will turn out and how to work with obstacles and existing buildings and utilities in the area at estimated costs. And when J.G.B. Smith did some initial work for the eventual entrance back around 2005, the Arlington Gateway was already under construction back at that time. And then the project stalled. According to Burglar, a below-ground wellway for escalators was built at that time for future use. And it's been sitting ever since. The addition cost around $1 million at the time, but it was a requirement of the building site plan. And given the 15-year gap between the plan creation and now, Arlington has the plans updated. Metro has new and updated requirements, plus local, state, and federal codes have also changed. Arlington County staff are working on that now and expect to issue a proposal this month in August in order to update the plans. Here's what it looks like at the moment. You see between that building right there, Fairfax Drive and Glebe Road, the station just cuts in the middle and just curves to the right and left to get into Ballston Station. So you can see the tracks to your right as soon as you get in. And Burglar did say that the project is about $40 million higher than estimates for a similar second Crystal City entrance as well, because the county is unsure about utilities and unmarked equipment under Fairfax Drive. And when the county worked with WTA to put the new elevators in on the east end of the Ballston Metro, the construction contractor encountered a Verizon duct bank that was under the sidewalk where the elevators were supposed to go. The project, which happened in the mid-2000s, was held up for a couple of months. Then the county decided it was cheaper to move the elevators out of the parking lane and take street parking rather than having to pay the fees associated with relocating utilities on their original locations. Burglar also didn't know that J.G.B. Smith's active involvement in the Crystal City Metro second entrance was a reason for the cost difference. And so much of it is on JGB property, and JGB has been active for a while with that concept design planned. And there's similar projects in layout and scope. They are similar in those fields, but those site conditions and the partnering is different. So it's gonna take some more time. Maybe it could take even longer for the west entrance to be fully up and running. It's expected to open in 2024, as well as when the 8Ks come out into service. So that's it for the Visa Halftime Report, guys. I hope you did find that nice and interesting. We'll see you guys back at L'Enfant Plaza for the second half, coming up right here.